What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Troyz. I'm here again with another video. Today's video will be on how to shade for infinite design for beginners. So today we're going to learn everything on shading. We're going to learn how to lighten, how to get how to locate the lightest part on the darkest parts of his face, of our client's face, of the client's face. We're going to be looking at how to create a facial structure. I'm just going to facial structure on the face. I'm just going to break down this image for us to understand it more, like 3D, kind of like 3D, to be easier for you to shade whenever you're shading. That's going to help us a lot. And then creating a perfect palette for part 1, and then for the part 2 we're going to be learning on different shading techniques, and I'm going to go from the simplest form of shading to the hardest form, from 3-step, 6-step. I'm just going to make it kind of multiples of 3, 6, 9 and 12 shades. So we're going to move from 3 to 12. I'm going to show you guys here, and just trying to make everything more real with every step of the shades that I'm going to handle here. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, leave a comment on the video for me to get your feedback on the video, if you love it, if you're still finding any difficulty after watching it, and any other thing. And without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, so guys, locating the lightest part of this face, first of all, before we can do that, we have to know the direction of sunlight. Okay guys, so just before we start, I'm going to create a layer above this outline so I don't draw on the sketch. I actually ended up doing same thing earlier in this video, but I'm going to cut that out. So first of all, before we actually can try to know the brightest or the darkest part of this face, you have to know the direction of sunlight. Now you feel I don't care about that, I just want to start shading. But truth is, you have to know about that, because you feel knowing the lightest part or the darkest part of his face isn't really that important. But truth is, we need to know all these facts for us to be able to really place our shadows properly, or to be able to really give him that form on his face. So without further ado, let's start. Now, as you can see from the photo, the light reflection is coming from somewhere, let's just say somewhere around here. Okay, let me change the color of that just to make things visible a bit for us. This up nothing. Okay, so guys, I've changed the color of pen. So light is coming from here. And why do I know that? Because of his neck. As you can see, his neck is trying to shade towards this direction, or towards this direction, sorry, or okay, it's up, or towards this direction. So as you can see here, kind of just following this line there from the sun, and that's basically the direction of light, first of all. So if we were to play around, we'll say the sun is around here. So this app can be frustrating at times. The sun is around here, and he's not really looking directly into the sunlight. as you can see here. So as you notice also, there's a dark so from here we can see visibly here that the different places on his face are really as in very light. This part of his nose, come have to reduce that a bit. So this part of his so this part of his nose is light. These places are fairly light, just had a bounce or such. This place is very light too. Then this place too is light. Here is not very bright like the way his nose is, but his bounce there is fair enough. And here is bright. It's really bright, especially here too. All these places are all bright. Here is a few bounce. It's kind of like as it's coming from this part here, this is kind of like reducing. Any other all the rays from here are more sharper because the sunlight is coming from this direction. So as it goes to the other parts of his face, it kind of like tend to fade out. But as you notice here, his ears are popping out. The light bounced on his ears, so I want us to keep that in mind. And for now, we're not drawing his neck, but just in case if we're drawing a client, you can see here that here is also light, and here too is a bit light due to the fact that the rays are coming from there. But this other place here, they are very dark. These parts here are very dark, and they are very dark even though they are at the point where light is coming from. Is because look, from in real life 3D, these parts, it's the cloth actually bent around here. So as in okay, let me say something like this. So the cloth bent around there. So this part here is like closer to him more than this part. I know that's like visible, but I just need you guys to understand something. And here, which is the reason why here is darker, unlike other places. And then here these other parts here that dark. Okay, let me change the colors of darker parts. Let me make it yellow. So these parts here that are yellow. These parts are very dark. They're yellow. I'm sorry. These yellow parts are the dark parts. These parts. And there's something you guys also want to note. Any place along the beard or any part towards where hair is meant to be or where there's going to be hair, is always dark. That part is always dark, and that part is dark not because of sunlight all the time, but because of the fact that hair is coming out from there, and hair do tend to give this dark spot on the face. So as you can see guys here, all these parts are dark. Even his mouth, so here is dark. I also forgot to note this out on his these are very light. Please on his lip are very light. Very light. Yeah, this place too. Light. There's nothing to just after the beard parts. Most times though, these parts are really light, but the other parts that are really dark, as in dark. This place too is dark because the mouth kind of like comes out here and gives it a bit shade under here. So here is dark. As you can see here, the nose is really dark, and kind of like here is really light. These parts here are a bit light. These parts here are a bit light on his face, but as they tend to go downwards, they get darker. So as you can see there, it kind of like fades out. You want to remember that while shading. Now I'm going to bring references to all that when it's time. Also, you can notice on his eyes that here there are light, some parts too are a bit light. Here is light. When drawing the eyes, that is this part of the eyes on the person's face, there's this highlight here that usually comes up. This highlight actually makes you understand that the eye bulges out. So that's the reason why here is kind of like light. And all this part too. They're just there to show you that hey, that eye there is not really flat the way you see it. And also here on his head here, this part is light. Now for dark parts along the nose, alongside the nose, or the sides of the nose are usually dark. Sides of the nose are very dark. Not very dark though, but they are dark. Then also to depict the volume of the eyes, or to show you that the eyes really kind of like bulged out, there's these dark lines. There are these dark lines that are always there on the face. To just give volume above here too. This place is just to show you that his eyes, up here, there's a bone here. It's actually a bone here. So that bone there that protects the eyes from blows and some other things is what actually gives this shade here that you're seeing here. So there's this shade here. This shade is one common thing you're going to meet along when you're drawing. And also the shades here on his eyes, just before you go up, shades, a lot of shades there. And then just same thing, just as there is to the beard, there are shades here to the hair. Here to the hair. Like I told you before, at the edges of the hair or the side of the hair, they're usually dark. Understand? Then the ears, you might have to study the ears though. Some people's ears are a bit different, but there are different types of ears. Like normally there are different types of ears, but the way the ears kind of like tend to behave to light is also different too, since the fact that their geometry is different. Now I don't mean to bore you guys with all this, but the truth is you have to understand this thing. And unlike all artists, me, when I actually started learning, or when I continued learning this art here, digital art, I actually had to learn some of this part individually due to the fact that I just wanted to really improve on myself and understand some of these parts here, some parts of the body. I actually went to Pinterest, just browse as vector art on. Just make sure that I'll just type in vector I, vector this, cartoon vector this, cartoon vector that. That's I was just seeing references, and I just took my time to study them, especially for teeth. Took my time to study them, just like that. As you can see here, these are all the. Let me try to. Let me try to move these other parts. Maybe. Alright guys, if you don't understand these tools I'm using here, like I always say, or like I recommend to you guys, try to check my video on different design tools for you to better understand what we're doing here. It's going to help you a lot. Now I've not really done anything but just to point out the lightest part and the darkest part of his face, which you can really see here, but you really just have to understand some of these principles before you can really shade in. And now to create a facial structure, just so like I give him this 3D, I'm just gonna put in some lines to just let me try to make them straight. I'm just trying my best to make them straight. So okay, we're not on the face now, but we're not on his neck, but just to the pitch a bit here, you can see that it's kind of bent here. That things are kind of bent this way here, and that stuff there kind of give you the muscle, kind of show you his muscles there. So if we were to draw these two to be something like this, now take note though, the way this stuff is going on here, or the way this geometry is going on, is almost same way as we're going to be shading. So just watch clearly and see the way I break these things down. Now you can see that in some kind of way they are all kind of like, sorry, now you can see that in some kind of way they are all kind of like connected, as they are. I'm feeling weird today, I don't know. So okay, let me reduce the opacity so I'll see your top down. Let me change the color of this layer. How better. So as you can see here, I've broken down his ears. If I was to draw the ear now using this reference here, I would have done something like this. Sorry, I will kind of like want to sketch, and I want to leave it like this. I think I have to off that layer, so that's installed. Understand? So just like that, following these lines and following the guides and the ways to which have been drawn, as we are seeing here. You can see that it kind of like follow up. So if that was a 3D, if that was if we were to shade that now, that's the flow. Yeah, that just is the flow at which we're going to be shading. And then you have to note that his head is kind of like something like this. Let me put it, this is his ears here, so this is his jawline. So you have to know that and basically the neck just came out like this in 3D. If we were to just quick the picture, I'm just trying to show you guys to make you guys understand what I'm saying. So looking at it here now, you can see that before that the light came through here, this part here, which is here now, kind of cuts out. It cuts out. When you're shading that part, you want to shade something like this. You want to be shading it like this, because here it's normal. It's kind of like extracting some parts of the face. Let me just cover some things now and show you guys. From here, I would say that the main part of his face, leaving that out, that's this part here. This part here I'm talking about. Let me try to show you guys everything about that part. Everything on that part will be around here. Can we take this above so that we can draw the outline? Come on. So okay, so looking at it here, this is basically the front part, as you can see here, which is this part here that I was trying to tell you guys about. And then the other part, which is here, and basically this part. So as you can see here, it kind of like give you this just for the hair, kind of like smooth. I don't know how I'm going to put it. Kind of like circular. Okay, yeah, kind of like circular. Yeah, just like this. So that's the way these other parts are. And then these are the main parts of his face. So as you can see, the lights are more of here, and then here it kind of like just fades out. Let me delete some of this so I can, because we know what I'm doing. So if we were to break down his face, if I was the one, this is where I will basically take it. Now if you notice, as cheeks here, I kind of like came in sharp and then print like this. That's because of the fact that he's smiling. If he wasn't smiling, it would have been flat somehow. As you can see here, that's how it is from what we're seeing here. And then if you want to go even lower, you kind of like go like this now and not doing it like this again, because at this point here the cheeks actually won't be that the cheeks won't be that deep, as in it won't go that much. And here kind of like covers up this whole part, covers up these two parts, kind of like giving you a whole of them. So as you can see, as we're going closer, it's kind of like getting more edgy, kind of like getting more edgy. This is seen here. And yeah, as you're going far, kind of like want to make everything group, want to like put them in a group or so. And just like that. Now I have to take note of something. When I got here, I kind of like went overboard at first, but later on cleaned it and came back, because at the edge of here, at the edge of his cheek here, this dark part here kind of like faded out. It wasn't dark again, but as you can see here, it came back here, up here, then came back. So that's something you want to keep in mind. If you don't put this part, as little as this part, his face will look flat, this place here, because it won't give you that 3D realistic view. Understand? So that's something you want to remember too. And then this is his nose, and basically his brows, his eyes, these are some features that when you're drawing, you want to bend towards his nose, because of the fact that they are sliding in real life. So when you're shading, you're kind of like, I normally do something like this. Normally shade like, let me change the color. I normally shade something like this. Then I'll come here and check. Tap. Something stops like this, and most times too, when I'm shading here, I'll be like, or I'll be like, yeah, that's true too. I'm coming. you don't want to make this too high. You want to keep it low a bit, because this is, I think it's about here. Yeah, it's about there. Then you come here. So when you're drawing this, you want to keep it like this as possible. Not too much though, but just enough. You can make it more bent, or you can make it as flat as possible. But you just want to know that here and there they're on different levels. This is a bit elevated than this. That's something you want to keep in mind. I hope I'm not confusing you guys. Like, I really hope I'm not confusing you guys. Don't worry, we'll get into a shading part, and then you see more of these things as I want you to see. Now be careful on his forehead. Be very careful on their foreheads, because here now, if you can really see it the way I want you to, so if you can see what I'm saying here, his head kind of like went in here, went in towards here, kind of something like this. Something like this. Kind of head kind of like came here. Then this is, it's still his head, or just that here is kind of like, because here wants to go darker and here is light. This part of his head is light. It kind of fades down, showing you that that place is a bit down, pressed downwards. So if you were to shade here now, we'll go something like this. We'll be shading like this. As you can see, we'll be shading like this. And here, we'll kind of like bring them together like this. This one's here, you kind of like always follow yourself. So this will follow, this will follow, this come here, then bend just like that. Technically, I've actually shaded this, like technically I've already shaded this, showing you where to shade, but then it will not be here, because this is not why we're here, isn't it? Then you guys want to see like cool shades. Well, the fun thing is that even if you see cool shades, like immediately, you might not really grasp it as sharp as you feel you are meant to, because the thing there is, it still takes practice. You have to practice, and I hope you guys are really practicing on what I've all my videos, as in like tutorials on tutorial on tools and everything. I hope you guys are really practicing, because it's only then, and then only, will you be able to get to a level. Now as you can see here, these are kind of connected here, so they are on this another level too, and then this is another level. But you also want to note something here. It's kind of depressed, as in kind of went in here too. So while you're shading, you want to be like okay, you be like stuff like this, just to help you out. No, like I tell you guys, I've basically drawn everything. As in, like, I've basically drawn everything. Basically shaded him. Let me take this below. So, and just like that, I'm covered up. So, really good at drawing all these figures and such. So I'm just going to try to be as simple as I can be. So as you can see here, after he got his beard here, which came up. So these are things that you really want to keep in mind. Okay. So that's just basically it. Like that's really just it. For okay. So now let's create a very good product for me, and then we'll use it as a reference later on. Now if you notice, I kind of like gave like a rough period yeah, did a rough period here. Now I'm going to give one advice, guys. Don't be scared about the palette. Even if your palette is wrong, don't be scared. What you should be bothered about is your shading technique. If your shading technique is terrible, you can always correct your palette, but correcting your shading technique is going to be more stressful and more hard for you. But nevertheless, we still need to get a good palette from start. So oh shit, I won't have done it. Okay, they're here though. What I did is let me take this out. Let's just start from afresh. Now I'm going to drop the file for this palette down in the description below. So if you guys need it, you can always get it from the description below. And we're going to be using Lasso ink here to make it easier for us to outline his palette. Now for the first part, which is the three sets, you are going to set your palettes according to the number of set of shades you want to do. Now you can do this at the beginning or at the end of your shading. You can just use this black and white palette here that was given to you, and then at the end just change your colors by selecting everything and changing the colors in your normal settings. But for now, let's pick 3 colors. If we were to choose 3 colors just to shade him easily, you would want to make sure you're going to try and avoid the latest part of his face, because if you're going to take 3 colors, you want to keep them close to themselves as close as possible. You want to make sure they're kind of like close to themselves as possible, but still far. So if that was the lightest part of his face, you want to go somewhere here. Let me try to make sure they're kind of like in the same. Okay. Now this would have been the second part, and then this part is really dark, so let me go there. This would have been this would have been the third part. Now just know that you can always edit and change it, but you just really want to like I said, they don't really matter at the beginning till you are really done with your shading. But if we were to do it, this is just how it will look like. I just want to show you guys how it will look like if it was just 3. But I'm going to create 12 here first. From this 3 here, funny enough, I'm going to create 12 pellets from this 3 because they're pretty far from themselves. Now let me off the okay, let's do something. Okay, no, that will be later, not now. Let's create pellets first. Where is the layer? Okay, this layer. Okay, so now first I'm going to save these 3 layers. These 3 pellets first. Okay, so now they are in. So if we're going from here to here, because realistically you can't really you can go lighter than this though. You can go lighter than this, but I'm trying to stay in a guide at first. Then maybe later on we can increase the pellets and, you know, draw more. But for now, let's just keep it at that. And now we have this, isn't it? Now notice here, you can see where this is located. It's located here, and saturation is here mid. For this one, it's kind of almost the same thing, but you can see the distance from here to here, here to here, here to here. You can see how far it has gone. And same thing with the other one, darker one. But if you notice now, this darker one has more red in it than these other ones. Now that's because realistically you have like blood vessels in your body, and you know they must show on your skin color to, you know, like reflect. So you don't want to actually go for pellets like this. You don't want to go for pellets that are too plain. Something like this. You want to go for something like this. You want them to be kind of like distinct, different, or I don't really know what to use, but that's just what I'm trying to bring to you guys understanding. But nevertheless, even this one here is a bit too bright, so I'm going to give it a bit saturation. Now I know you're not really seeing a difference, but that's not much. Okay, yeah, this better. Okay, now this better, this far better. Hope you guys are really seeing it. Okay, so from here we're going to try and get to here. So let's go. Wait, I have to say something first. If you notice here to also change, this place also change, but we are going to correct that along here. We're going to create 3, and we're going to create 4 from here to here, and another 4 from here to here. That would be how many? Okay, we're going to create 3 before this, and 3 before this, and 3 before this. So here, let's go forward a bit. Increase saturation so a bit. Also go forward. You don't want to go too far. Just try not to go too far from. No, this is too near. Let's go forward. Okay. Now just to help you, anytime you want to like get a better pellet, after you have tapped it, just go out, then come back in. It's going to make this full bar your main color. Then when you start editing or when you start moving, it's going to show you the difference between two colors. So right now you can see that this color is cool, but now it's just too bright. So we're going to give it more saturation. As you can see there, same thing. How many I've created now? That's 2. Okay, it's remaining one more. I'm going to leave this one like this because of the fact that, you know, it's still meant to be light. And then this color, like I said, I'm going to give it more saturation because from photo is more different from when you're drawing realistically in cartoons. So let's try and get to here, or let's try and get from here forward. Okay. Now I'm going to move it forward. Let's increase saturation a bit. Let me see, is there any difference? Difference is not that much. Now that's 2. So it means the last one, and you can see this one and this guy, they're not too far from themselves. So we're going to go to the middle and get one. Let's reduce saturation a bit. Now this is undersaturated. Now as you can still notice, there's kind of like a lot of difference between the colors, but like I said, you can always fix it at the end. This is 4, okay. So let's try to get to here. You also have to know that trying to like get a very smooth palette, you're going to have more. Trying to have a very smooth skin for your character, for your client, you are going to have more. Am I going darker? Am I going brighter? Okay. You're going to have more palettes. If you want to do that, you just have to have more palettes. That's what's going to help you. Now this is too much, so I'm going to reduce saturation a bit. Okay, but unlike me now, this is too dark. Okay, now that's better. Let's look at that. So if we were to like draw out the palettes from here, as you guys are seeing it, this is the first one. Let me clean all this again. Much. So as you guys can see, this one's are a bit closer, so as we go, I think this is oversaturated. It's overly saturated. Okay. Yeah, I think all these ones are oversaturated, but I'll fix that. Like I told you before, you don't have to worry. Just make sure your shading is correct. But let's finish this so I can go on. That's casted. I'm coming. And something I want to get from this app. From that align. And I hope it really ouch. Okay. Let's try that again. I feel like I've seen yeah. This is more like it. So as you can see here, guess from the lightest to darkest part. If you're not still okay with your palette, you can always adjust it. But if we were to choose just 3, you're not going to go for the lightest parts because it's going to be too far from your second or your main skin tone. You can say from this picture that Chadwick's skin tone is around here. Yeah, this is probably the skin tone. So you always want to keep this in mind. Let me just dot that now so we don't forget. Okay. What pen is selected? Oh shit. But keep in mind that this is shit. Okay. So keep in mind that this is the main skin tone there. We can see that if we want to select three pillars, select this, probably this from here to here, If I select from here to here, let me just take the mid one here, and then from here to here, we don't want to go too dark here. Probably take here, and then come. And then if I choose like 6, probably go for lighter one above here. And remember that we took from that middle there, so we take around here. Here are the 4, 5, and 6. As you can see, these are kind of close, very close to yourself, so don't really know why. It's too close. I don't like the fact that it's too close. Okay, now that's better. So now we'll choose this. That's 5, 6. Oh shit. Okay. I just want to take this out. No. These are the first 3 R&D. Let's move them here. Then this is one here. And these other ones here, you move them around here. And then just basically the other pellet will be, these other ones here. Let me just take this all out and represent them as they are meant to be. Now that's why it's good to keep them here. It's easier for you to bring them back whenever you want to use them, unlike having to start all over. You basically delete that layer. You can bring it back though, so that's not a problem. Fifth layer. 3, 4, 5. Yes. Prisoners hand. Aha. Okay, that's good. I just like the way this skin stuff overlaid on his eyes. It's just really beautiful. Stress. Give me design here. How many is here? I don't know. Now as you can see, the distance between this and the other one is a bit too far. So, okay, aha, you can see the between kind of like just blended in somehow. No, this is cute. So as you can see here, the dark shades are here, very dark shades. The in-between shades are here, then the skin highlights. Now you can go higher than this for your highlights, but sorry, you can go higher than that for your highlights, but I just advise that you should be careful so you don't end up putting white there. The more high you go on the highlights, the more saturation you should put, so the skin won't look pale, like completely pale. Okay, let's go here. So as you can see, I'm kind of just like shit. come. So basically, I'm just trying to make sure I don't go too far on the wheel here. This is enough. This is enough. It's basically enough. You can even use only just this up here for someone else's skin, as in like this is just darkest part of person's skin, and this another person, a complete black person's skin. He's already to predating one here. It's perfect pellet skin color. So if you want this pellet, it's also going to be available down. Shit. Anyway, there is nothing really I'm going to use, so yeah, I can discard that. And then up next, we're going to be looking at, just basically, if I was to use 3 shades, if I was to use 6 shades, if I was to use 9 shades, and that's just it. So see you guys on part 2. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, and comment, because I'll be uploading the next video soon. See you guys.